welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. 4 reviews up this week. First of which is a game called, I think it's pronounced Equin the Lantern. Not 100% sure on that name, or if it's even a word that exists in the English language. Mainly because equine is associated with horses. This game is associated with rabbits.
I don't know what's up with that.
That's something that we would have to ask the developer about. And putting that aside, Equin is a roguelike. And it's a roguelike in the back to basics sense. It's not, a side-scrolling platform or a, insert genre here with permadeath, random features, what have you. No, this is decidedly closer to what an actual roguelike is than a lot of games we've covered in recent times. It's not fully there, because it does it adds its own accoutrements. That's to say, the battles, they take place in a first-person role-playing perspective, which is not part of the classic roguelike aesthetic. Your pure roguelikes, the battles take place on the battlefield. Think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and the like. Here the perspective would be more from like Dungeon Master, Wizardry, insert first-person dungeon crawler here. And the overall mixture is just shockingly refreshing, at least to me. Like, I think this is gonna be a subjective thing, but it's actually nice to play, a vanilla roguelike. Given that we've been covering a lot of, wacky new directions that the genre data set, whatever you want to interpret it as, has been drawn in the indie scene. It helps that the game is, it's a decent roguelike. Nothing amazing. It's got all the usual things, randomness, permadeath, unyielding difficulty. You will die a lot. And it does it all competently. Let's see, you got 5 character classes, though only 4 are open at the onset. I'm not exactly sure what the 5th one is. I don't know how you unlock, if you unlock that by finding that class in the dungeons, or if you by beating the game. Game runs 50 levels, which is a standard rogue dungeon run thing. And floors have various tricks to them, as a good roguelike should. It's like some levels are dark, some have anti-magic generators on them, some are on fire, or that is to say they're in a lava world, and there's a lot of fire there, and fire will burn some of your equipment, your wooden equipment and anything else that would happen to be flammable, like padded armor. Movements handled, once again, very conventionally. It's like each move is a turn, and you can also wait as a turn as well. And I could go on and insert game mechanic here, which conforms pretty nicely to the roguelike formula, and it does it all. I suppose the other flare of uniqueness is the titular lantern. So the lantern has 5 modes. I think it might have been Petty went through the tutorial and it explained what the lantern does. When the lantern's a certain color, a certain effect is on your character, and that depends on what class you pick. I'll be honest, the lantern had pretty minimal effect on things. like it was. It had an effect, but you 9 times out of 10 are probably not going to notice it, which is kind of disappointing, actually, given how much importance has been placed on the lantern and how I'm not how ignorable it is. But outside of that, I guess it's a nice flair of personality. Graphics are fairly functional. Once again, pretty basic, as you can see. Very 8-bit. Yeah, and like a lot of roguelikes, not a lot of animation to it. You know, there's a bit here and there, but you know, like I think this bat here has maybe 2 frames of animation. Your character has maybe 3. And it's all fine. Like, you know, it gets the roguelike aesthetic down pretty well. Even though, like, once again, it's more Torneko's Mysterious Dungeon than the actual Rogue. That, like, if you're going for pure, you got to do ASCII. And there are various other mechanics here, like, you know, the statues here will grant you a random affliction. You can grab potions out of cauldrons. And, you know, yeah, this is just a perfectly fine, perfectly solid game. Music, once again, it's pretty minimalist. Pretty 8-bit chiptune, bleep bloop kind of fare. You're probably going to end up turning it down or off after a certain point because it's pretty, you know, it's like the one song, or at least it felt that way. And yeah, honestly, that's about it in terms of descriptors, at least in terms of general pricing. So the game will clock in at $4.99, $5, and that's a pretty good price for not the cheapest roguelike I've ever seen. Like, I think I picked up one of these for $1 once, but pretty in keeping with what you'd expect. And you're probably going to get a fair amount of play value because you're not beating this in an hour. You know, it's once again, it's pretty typical roguelike formula where, you know, you try. Oh, and that's right. With the character selection, you get to pick some things out. You can pick up 3 pieces of equipment, and you can pick a random, not a random, but a variety of stat boosters. Like, do you want to get more experience? Do you want to get more magical defense? More attack power? Attack power is the thing I went for the most because I find attack power is really good.
Generally, killing things quickly is good.
Yes. And, you know, it's like having a high attack power is good. Though you shouldn't shirk on the defense because you can miss. And missing can be maybe more common than you want. And, you know, get down to a climactic fight and you miss and you get hit and die. This has happened to me more than once. And it's agonizing. And also, there is a unique point system. Like, when you beat, I'm not sure if it's like mini bosses. I know if you beat like actual bosses that are colored in red, you get these like Zadi points. You know, they're these unique points that allow you to unlock further bonuses at the start. Like if you have 1, you can unlock 2 torches. And so, you know, it's like, and the goodies do raise as you go up. Like one of the highest is, you get 2 grenades and like grenade-proof armor, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, so it's, worth your while to store those away if you wish. Right. And the 4 base classes are fighter, thief, cleric, priest, and magician. And they work as you would expect, although the differentiators can be determined on the length of play. Like the thief, he can really only do stealing at higher levels. So he's not going to be that differential from, say, a wizard, which, sucky attack power, but, this really powerful spells. You get that even at the beginning. Like, even killing bats with a wizard with, like, the dagger, gonna take you a couple rounds. Versus, if you use a flame. But extracurricular actions are tied to another stat. That is stamina. Stamina is your ability to do things well. Like if you start running out of stamina, you're gonna start like missing more and stuff. So it's worth keeping an eye on that. And of course, there's a hunger meter. It's not as robust as some other roguelikes and survival games I've seen. Like it's only a hunger meter. You don't have to worry about a thirst meter. Even though there's a lot of water in this game, which will refresh your stamina, among other things. Various stats. You can get poison. You can get the plague, which shuts out the shops. So on and so forth. Anyway, for $5, this will afford you a lot of playtime. And overall, I'd say 5.5 to 6 range. Like, nothing was amazing, but I ended up playing this a lot more than I expected to. Don't discount getting the fundamentals right. That may not be a lot of sizzle, but, a fine steak is still a fine steak. Let's see. Petty, any comments from you since you've been playing the game?
Not really.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Just briefly, when there's something like what looks like gold in the walls, how do you interact with that?
Oh, you need to get a pickaxe.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for Equin the Lantern here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Dread Nautical.